All right, ready to dive into something seriously creepy. Let's talk The Conjuring. I gotta say, your analysis has me thinking about this film in a whole new light.
It's definitely more than just your average horror flick.
Right. You picked up on so many details that make this haunting so darn effective. Like that opening scene with Annabelle. I mean, come on, talk about setting the mood.
Oh yeah, throwing Annabelle in right off the bat, that's not just about giving us the creeps, it's almost like a statement.
A statement.
Like the filmmakers are saying, look, if you can't even handle Annabelle, turn back now.
I like that. A horror movie test.
Exactly. You see that doll, that creepy little face, and you know you're in for something.
Intense. It's brilliant. And then, bam, we shift gears. We're introduced to the Perron family, moving into this old farmhouse. And, you know, I love how The Conjuring uses that classic slow burn approach. You talked about that a lot in your analysis.
Yeah, it's a classic for a reason. It just gets under your skin. Those early scenes, you know, like the family dog refusing to go inside, the clock's all stopping at 3.07.
See, those things, they're not terrifying on their own, are they?
No, not really, but that's the point. It's all about creating that unsettling feeling, like something's not right here.
Exactly. Like when you get that feeling someone's staring at you, even though you haven't turned around, it's that anticipation.
Yes. Like Hitchcock said, there is no terror in the bang, only in the anticipation of it.
Okay, so you just brought up Hitchcock. You know I'm a sucker for a good film reference. But you're so right. And The Conjuring is a masterclass in suspense, especially that hide and clap scene you mentioned.
Oh, don't even get me started on that scene.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
It's so simple. Hide and clap. We've all played it. But the way Juan directs it, it's masterful. Those long, drawn-out shots and the silence. You're just waiting for something to jump out.
You know, when it finally does, that slow reveal of the clapping hand. Oh, man.
It's pure genius, and it's so much more effective than a jump scare. It's that fear of the unknown, you know? It sticks with you.
Speaking of things that stick with you, we gotta talk about Bathsheba Sherman, the real-life inspiration behind this whole haunting. I mean, a witch who sacrifices her own child. That's some next-level evil.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? I mean, the things people are capable of.
Right. And what I find so fascinating is how the film uses this real historical figure to tap into something, I don't know, more universal. It's not just a haunted house anymore. It's like this idea that evil can invade your home, the one place where you should feel safe.
It's tapping into those primal fears, for sure.
And what's really interesting is how they weave in details from Bathsheba's actual life, her tragic backstory, the alleged satanic practices, even the time of her death, 3.07 a.m., which keeps popping up throughout the film.
It's like they're blurring the lines between reality and fiction.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, what if there's more to this story than we know? I mean, I know better, but I still found myself Googling Bathsheba Sherman after the movie.
You and me both.
It really gets you thinking, right, about the things that scare us, the things we maybe don't want to think about.
Exactly. And with The Conjuring, it's not just about a haunted house, is it?
Right. Like we were saying, it's that fear of evil invading your home, your family, and the really messed up things people can do to each other. That's where it goes from creepy to terrifying, at least for me.
Yeah, and you can tell the filmmakers really honed in on that family dynamic in this film. In your analysis, you talked about Carolyn Perron and the whole possession angle.
Because it's one thing to be scared by some ghost.
Right.
But having your own mother, the person who should be protecting you, turn on you like
It's terrifying. And what makes it worse, you see how much they love each other as a family at the start. So when it starts falling apart.
Exactly. It just makes those scary moments even more, I don't know, impactful. Like that scene you mentioned where Carolyn tries to hurt one of her daughters.
Oh man, that scene, it just gets you in the gut. Because it shows how insidious this haunting is.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just about moving objects or making creepy noises, it's trying to turn them against each other.
And that plays on something you talked about earlier, that fear of not being able to trust anyone, even your own family.
Exactly. It's a classic horror trope, but they do it so well in this film.
Right. It makes you wonder, what would you do in that situation if you couldn't even trust your own family?
You'd hope you'd know, but
yeah,
who knows. But speaking of effective horror, we gotta talk about the guy behind the camera, right?
James Wan. Okay, so your analysis of his directing style was spot on. The long takes, the sound design, he knows how to build suspense.
Doesn't he? He's a master at it. Like that scene where the camera's slowly pushing in on the rocking chair.
In the kids' room?
Yeah. You just know something's gonna happen, but the anticipation is killing you.
And it gets you every time.
Every time. It's like,
right.
He's playing with your expectations. And that basement scene with Carolyn, too,
Oh, yeah.
where the camera follows her, going deeper and deeper into the darkness, you're right there with her.
Feeling your way through, and you just know something awful is down there.
Exactly. And the sound, too. Don't even get me started on the sound design in this movie.
Man, it's so good. Like, it's not always about what you hear, it's about what you don't, you know.
The silence is deafening. Think about that scene where the lights go out in the house.
Yeah.
Everything just stops, and then you just hear these tiny little creaking sounds.
And you're like, what was that?
It's brilliant. Your mind starts racing, trying to fill in the blanks.
Your imagination is almost worse than anything they could show you, honestly.
Oh, 100%.
You know what else I love about this movie?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Juan uses so many practical effects.
Oh, for sure. For sure. There's nothing like it, is there?
It's like, for me, CGI, sometimes it takes me out of it. But when you see something that's actually there on set,
Yeah.
like that scene where the witch's body is contorting in the attic,
Oh my God, yeah.
it's just so much creepier.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they actually had to figure out how to make that happen.
It's like stop motion almost, the way it moves.
Yeah, there's a weight to it. And it feels more real somehow, even though it's something totally impossible.
It just goes to show sometimes the old ways are the best, right?
Right. But okay, so we've talked about all these amazing elements, the directing, the sound, the story. But what do you think it is about The Conjuring that really sticks with people? Because it's been like, what, more than a decade since this movie came out? And people are still talking about it.
I think it's a few things, honestly. I mean, like we said, James Wan is a master at what he does.
For sure.
And you've got these compelling characters that you actually care about. And then there's this whole layer of like history and folklore that makes it feel more real somehow. Like it could actually happen.
It gets in your head for sure. And it's funny because it's a horror movie, right? But at its core, it's also a story about love and faith.
That's so true. The Warrens, they have this unwavering belief in what they're doing. They really believe they're helping people.
Exactly. And that's a powerful thing to see, even in the middle of all this darkness.
Definitely.
So, okay, we've dug into the psychology of it all, talked about the filmmaking techniques, but what would you say is the most effective thing The Conjuring does to scare the pants off of us?
Honestly, I think it's how it plays on those deep-seated fears we all have. The fear of the unknown, the things that go bump in the night, the fear that the people we love could be not themselves.
See, and that's what gets me. That's the stuff that sticks with you long after the credits roll.
For sure, it reminds you that maybe the scariest things aren't the ones we can see, you know?
Oh, that is a chilling thought to end on, but you're right. So great job on that analysis, seriously. It's been great talking to you, unpacking all the layers of The Conjuring. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Let us know if you've got any theories of your own, and keep those lights on tonight. Or don't, maybe you're brave. We'll catch you next time.